Hi, it's Carl Irwin, the Common Magician, and these are some tricks that I do. Again, these are tricks that I actually do for people. They're not theoretical ideas or concepts just for the channel, put together for your consideration, but real material that I perform for real people in real environments with some regularity. So some of these are real go-to tricks. They're things that I'll do at the drop of a hat, kind of the first thing that comes to mind that I'll do. They're also the kinds of tricks where when you have an opportunity or you approach someone or you ask someone, you don't even know what you're going to do until you do it. I think it's good to have a number of tricks like that. I'll explain why at the very end. But these are borrowed deck tricks. I know, I'll just quickly on that idea of a borrowed deck, you know, whoever has a deck to borrow. Common magicians like myself, or perhaps like you, know that whenever you're doing card stuff and you don't carry one with you, a deck with you, you know, when we talk about borrowed decks, we're talking about that shelf in the living room where there's board games and then a deck of old nasty playing cards sitting there. These tricks are for that moment, right? The truly borrowed deck of cards from the end table or in the middle of a card game, you know, on vacation with the family or friends or whatever, that kind of stuff. Certainly you could do these with your own cards. However, you'll see in a moment, because of the types of tricks these are, they really lend themselves best to a borrowed deck of cards, right? These tricks are all kind of in the same wheelhouse. Which is why I lump them together. So spectator shuffles the cards until they're happy. You take the cards back and you ask them to tell you when to stop. You say, just tell me when to stop. Anytime you're ready. They stop right there. Say, great. You can go here. You can go one less, or you can go one more. They might say one more. You say, okay, here is the next card. Go ahead and take a look. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decipher what your card is just by gathering your subconscious cues, the tells that you have, those micro expressions that you exhibit that tell me what the card is. To make this more difficult, I want you to think about anything other than the card. Think about anything else, but don't think about that card. Okay, so start thinking about pink elephants or something, okay? So don't respond to me. I'm going to ask some questions, but don't give me an answer. I'm going to say some things. Don't respond. I'm going to sort it out. Black, red, black, red, black, red, 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 red. Black, black, black. No, red, red. It's red. So you have a little bit of twitch on the red. So you have hearts, diamonds, hearts, diamonds, hearts, diamonds, hearts, diamonds. What becomes of the broken? Are a girl's best friend? Diamonds. Diamonds. Don't think of your card. Imagine that you're in a high rise. Are you on a very high floor or on a very low floor? Are you on a high floor or low floor? High floor, low floor. High or low? High or low? I can't figure. I think you're in the middle. You're somewhere in the middle. Odd or even, odd or even, odd, 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 even, even, even. It's an odd middle number. 579, 579, 579, 579, 577, 7 of diamonds. 7 of diamonds? 7 of diamonds. Okay, so that's one. Another variation on that. Again, it looks nothing like it, but it is somewhat of a variation on it. Same kind of premise. They shuffle the cards. These are great tricks too, because they can go on and on, right? They can. There's kind of an extension to them. They can. It's all about the presentation. It's not about the method at all. It's all presentation, and these can hit extremely hard with the right kind of presentation and interaction with spectators. They shuffle the cards. Once they're done, have them set the cards down, have them cut the cards, have them replace the cut, have them square them up. Borrowed deck, again. You explain that a card person, has an intimate understanding of playing cards. Whenever they pick up a chunk of cards, they know exactly how many are there by the weight, by the feel. They know what the thickness of cards are supposed to be like and the different brands and how they compare and contrast with one another. They know the identity of cards by their weight, by their feel, by the way they bend. You see, the black ink has a little bit more spring to it than the red ink. The red ink is a little bit more spongy. They also know the weight because the black ink is heavier than the red ink. So between those two components, the springiness of it and the weight of it. And then also they can feel kind of the raised ink because the ink is added to the paper. It's actually printed on the card, and you can feel the subtle differences. At least someone who's been trained, they can feel the subtle differences between the different kinds of printing. They can feel how many spots are on the card. They can feel if there's a lot of ink in the center, such as with a picture card, right? They can also feel the edges of the ink. So there's sharp edges with spades and diamonds, and then there's rounded edges with the hearts and the clubs. And you can tell the difference between all of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decipher what this is just by feeling it, by bending it, but I want you to see the card too. So go ahead and take a look. I will try to look away and not look at this in the monitor. So go ahead and take a look as I try to sort out what this is. So it has some weight to it, but I can feel quite a few spots on it. It doesn't have as much weight as it should be with a high spotted black card, so I think it's red ink. I can also feel that the spots are pretty sharp. So I'm going to go with diamond. So it's a high spotted diamond. So that leaves us with 8, 9, or 10, I would say, 8, 9, or 10. I'm going to go right for the middle there and say that this is the 9 of diamonds. We can turn it over and we see it is the 9 of diamonds. Here's one more I will do. This one is very similar. They shuffle the cards once they're happy that they're completely shuffled. I asked them to turn them face up so they can see them. They're looking at the faces, and I asked them to spread through, and I asked them to look at every card. I don't want you to change the order. I don't want you to cut the deck. You shuffled it already. I just want you to make sure that you can see every card. So they will do that. They will look through. They look at every single card. And once they're done with that, I want them to close up the spread, square up the cards, go ahead and give them to me. And then I remind them, you have shuffled the deck. You looked at every card from the deck that you shuffled. Now, you don't remember in particular where any cards are at. In a moment here, I'm going to do some counting, and I'm going to have you find a card. You're going to do it mysteriously because you're just going to depend on your subconscious, right? What you remember from looking at the spread from your shuffle. We all have the power to do this, and I'm going to demonstrate that you have it as well. So let me name a card. King of Clubs. Give me a number. Quick. Give me a number. Give me a number. 18. Very good. Watch right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is 18 right here. Hold out your hand. Go ahead, take the cards. I want to point out that your card is not anywhere in here. You do not see the King of Clubs anywhere in there. Go ahead and turn over your packet in your hand, number 18. What do you see? King of Clubs. So this is an any card, any number kind of presentation. It's not really described as such as an any card to any number, but it is that. They shuffled the cards. They look through them. The premise there is that they can subconsciously recall the order of the deck, or they can identify a card just whenever I name it by giving me a number, and they can locate it. So fun one to do, very simple premise there. So 3 tricks that are kind of drop of the hat sort of tricks that I can do at any moment. Very, very simple methodology, and they play really, really well with people. They are blown away, and they rely heavily on presentation. I love tricks like that are very simple, very direct, but they allow you to give a good presentation. Some people are afraid of presentation, but you know, it's something I think that it's worth embracing, because that's where you can really elevate a performance, is by giving a good presentation and having good interaction with your spectators to really kind of bring them in to the trick. So why is it important to have tricks like this? Number one, I think it's good to have tricks that you can do, at least a handful of them, where you can approach somebody and not even know what you're going to do and just decide in the moment what it's going to be. I think that's kind of nice to have enough tricks like that, because it helps to not have to think so hard about what you're going to do. If you have a handful of tricks that are just so accessible to you that you can call on one at any moment, then it means you're ready to perform at the drop of a hat. Now, for the second reason is that when something goes wrong, it's good to have a handful of tricks like that you can use to completely switch gears. You can take something that is totally derailed, it's not working. This doesn't happen very often, but something that's not going to work, or you lost your break, right? You missed the call, you didn't get the peak, you were off, you called the wrong thing, you peaked the wrong thing, whatever, okay? It's nice to have a trick that you can do that fixes everything. In that moment, you can just switch gears and say, well, let me try something else, do this, and then it works out, as if all of this was supposed to be the way that it came out, right? The magician fails and then succeeds kind of a premise. So it's good to have some tricks like that. These are a few that I keep in my mind, ready to go with a borrowed deck at a moment's notice, just for that reason. So good luck with that. Happy magicking.